there are some new disturbing updates that I'm going to show you guys in this Epstein files saga. Jay-Z is being attached to more and more predators as the files continue to be reviewed. And this is something that's been going on, man, for decades. Under the radar, nobody's seen it. And if you just segment it out and put it in pieces, it looks like nothing. But then when you put it all together, it's like, oh, this is what's really going on behind the scenes. And it's not a good look for Jay, because how do you keep having your name attached to similar types of things and similar types of people? I'm going to show you guys Dame Dash responding to Jay being around predators. I'm going to show you Nas responding to Jay being around predators. Nicki Minaj has pretty much made her piece known. She said, are y'all understanding that these people have been sacrificing children as a way of gaining and maintaining power? If you ever vote Democrat again, you're just as soulless as they are and will perish. Maybe it's time for me to do some story time, she said. And she posted that with a picture of Jay-Z and Aaliyah. And it says Aaliyah was age 15, Jay-Z was age 26 in 1996. It's a picture of them together hugged up. And next to that is a picture of Jay-Z and Beyonce. Jay-Z age 27 and Beyonce age 16 in 1997. Nicki Minaj posted this, and it caused a little bit of a frenzy on the internet. Now, people would say, well, Will, why do you keep reacting and only talking about the Jay-Z part of it? And the reason why is because that's what my audience wants to hear about. It's not deep for me. I don't know what's going on. In reality, I'm just reading these articles, playing the videos, and showing you guys what I see when I look into these situations that y'all like me to look into. There's audiences out there that want to hear about the other people in the files, and on those channels, I'm sure those people are doing those topics. But I'm going to talk about what my audience wants to hear about on this channel. So if you've never been to Will Evans Live, welcome to Will Evans Live. My name is Will Evans. I'm your host. Over here, we break these topics down. We talk about the illusions of success, what success really is and what it's not. And we talk about culture. And in celebrity culture, you see a lot of these different stories. And these are people that people idolize. But in reality, what they did to become successful is not actually success. Because I define success by what does God say about success. And when we talk about God, we talk about my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, man. Let me take my cross out. Let's be clear. So we're going to break this topic down, man. I have a lot of information to get to on this topic. The rabbit hole on this one is crazy as well. When you see that Jay-Z is around a bunch of different predators, it's not just like one predator. It's not one situation as we could say he was around this and that was the only time he was around somebody like this. No, it's like 5, 6, 7 predators that Jay-Z has been called a friend by. And I'm going to show you guys all that. From the Epsteins to the Weinsteins to the R. Kellys to the Bill Gates. We're going to break that topic down because Bill Gates' wife has come forward, ex-wife, has come forward and said some things. Some of it you guys have seen. I got a clip that you guys probably haven't seen before. I got actually a lot of clips that I'm sure you guys haven't seen before that we're going to react to. We're going to talk about those things, and we also going to talk about something that's really crazy, a really crazy update, which is Epstein's niece has come forward. Jeffrey Epstein's niece has come forward. And she did an interview saying that her family are devil worshippers, Satanists. And she's exposing the whole Epstein situation. And we're going to talk about that as well, man. Let's jump into the live stream. If you've never been here before, let us know where you're watching from in the chat. If you're not a subscriber, you're not going to be able to be in the chat. So if you want to comment, make sure you subscribe to the channel real quick. And you want to be subscribed anyway because you want the updates and you want the latest information. And you want this information broke down in a way that you can digest it. And so that's what we do over here. So make sure you subscribed anyway and turn your notification bells on. Also, I always forget to say this, but salute to Cash App for the partnership. If you want to support the growth of the channel, make sure you donate on Cash App at ULegend, ULGND. And we're going to start with a prayer and then we're going to jump into the content, man. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for another day, God. Thank you for another opportunity to come on these platforms and share truth with each other, God, and just fellowship with each other. And just do what the Bible says in Ephesians chapter 5, God, which is have no fellowship with the fruitless deeds of darkness, but yet expose them. That's what we're here to do, Lord, as your word and your scripture says, Lord. And I ask that you just bless everybody that's listening and protect people and their spirits from the things that we're about to talk about, because some of this stuff is going to get dark, Lord. So we just want to just come here first and just give you glory, honor, and praise in Jesus' name. Amen. I got some crazy stuff that I want to show you guys, man. There was a CIA agent, and all this is we're going to take you down the rabbit hole, and you guys are going to see how Jay-Z ties in at the end. So just bear with me and go down this rabbit hole with me. There's a CIA agent. This former CIA agent was killed, and shortly after exposing this, it got bad for him. So check out this video. I want you guys to hear what he has to say.
These children are not just kidnapped and in some cases bred by families as a cash crop. We have people in the United States of America that breed children in order to sell them. And when they are sold, they come without birth certificates, which means it's easier to kill them and have no one ask where they are.
One thing I want to note is a lot of times we think that this stuff is happening outside the country, and it's never happening in the United States. But this is going on, he says, in the USA. This is a former CIA agent who they say is no longer with us. I don't know if that's the truth, but that's what they said online. And him saying this is crazy. He said they're breeding children. So a lot of people say, when they look at the Jeffrey Epstein thing, where are they getting all these kids from? And how come nobody's ever reporting these kids missing? And, that's a good question. And this seems to be the answer, unfortunately. Possibly.
We're also importing children by the plane load. Again, children who have no documentation. It's not just child slavery or child sex abuse. It's also child torture, because you have adrenalized blood. You have the whole blood drinking ceremony of the satanic world. It's also the use of children for harvesting body organs. And then you have ritual ceremonies and ritual murder, as well as incidental murder. Most organizations that end up being used to prey on children, Oxfam is a recent example. Mm-hmm. All of the United Nations organizations, the Boy Scouts of America, all of the child services agencies across the United States of America, they did not start out as organizations to prey on children.
Okay, that's important.
But they attract pedophiles. And ultimately, pedophiles end up rising in the ranks and controlling those organizations.
That's very interesting. So he's saying these organizations, they don't start out with the intent of doing these things, but because they employ certain people that are weirdos, those weirdos work their way up the corporate ladder and end up running the organizations. So then those organizations, by default, like in the Bible, how Christ will say that that his followers know his voice, his sheep know his voice, and he comes to separate the sheep from the goat. There's a saying that a shepherd by his flock. So as these weirdos rise up the ranks and get into positions of power, what do you think the organization is going to be? A shepherd by their flock. So everybody under them is going to be on board with whatever the leader is doing. So that's how it happens.
So that an organization that initially started out in the service of children becomes an organization that is in fact hunting children.
Wow. So he said that, and then I came across this clip from some children that were raised in a satanic cult, and they were talking about what they witnessed and what they experienced, and they were being interviewed about this, and I thought that you guys will want to see and hear this, and it's disturbing, so I want to give you guys, the proper disclaimer. If you got a weak stomach, we ain't gonna show nothing crazy. It ain't nothing crazy on screen, but listen to what they saying, man. Full disclaimer is about to happen right now. So just be careful if you got a weak stomach.
First time when we ever done it with Papa, the first time when we literally done it, we had feared so much.
When you did what?
When you killed the baby, the first time. And
you killed the babies?
Yes.
You yourself?
With Papa. Papa holding my hand, he helped me. He told me to cut the baby's head off. Then he forced me to.
He held your hand?
He held my hand. Yes.
Like what? Show me.
So this is my hand on the nut. He put his big hand on, and he pushed my hand and then cut off the head.
Crazy, man.
Like that. And then when we got older, we got more used to it.
Wow.
But then we understood. Then my mom. But when my mom found out about it, she understood. She told me that it's wrong to do this stuff.
Do you understand what's going on in the world, man? We live in our bubbles, and we think that this stuff can't happen, and this stuff ain't real, and it's just you just see these things on TV. But this is what's really going on in the world, man. And I think it's sick and it's disgusting and it's sad, man, because how do you stop it? It's been going on probably for 100, if not more years. It's a system that they have on the way they do this, like the CIA agent, the former CIA agent was saying. Like they have a way of doing these things and making it look legitimate, and the organizations that are there to help children become organizations that hunt children. And it's crazy, man. I mean, Jeffrey Epstein, there was a recent development in the files that said Jeffrey Epstein had a secret child who was taken from the mother at birth. So it says the pedo, Jeffrey Epstein, may have fathered a number of children, new files suggest, with Sarah Ferguson appearing to congratulate him on the birth of a son in 2011. Jeffrey Epstein may have had buried in 3 million documents are references to Epstein having fathered children, including one by a teenager who alleges her daughter was taken from her minutes after birth. So if you got these babies that have no paperwork on them, it's easier for them to prey on those, right? In a diary entry in the files, an Epstein victim claims to have given birth to a baby girl in about 2002 when she was 16 or 17 years old. Included in her diary is a copy of a pregnancy scan dated 20 weeks gestation. So this is the file. So obviously this is confidential files. I want you guys to kind of keep in mind this too. When we read these files and when we going through this information and this different stuff, this is stuff that the FBI and the government has had for decades, and nothing has ever been done about it. That's the crazy part you got to think about. They've had this stuff for decades. 3 million files, and the only person in jail is Ghislaine Maxwell. So the child appears to have been taken from her mother 10 minutes after birth, which the woman alleges was supervised by Epstein's former girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell. Quote, she was born. I heard her cries, the victim wrote. I saw this tiny head and body in between the doctor's hands. Ghislaine says she was beautiful. Where is she? The woman wrote, I do not want to be tied to Jeffrey for the rest of my life. Playing the piano well is not a good reason to think someone has good genes or should have a baby. I'm too young. He is too old. The piano and music comments are made to convince me that this is right and will create a perfect offspring. He calls them, Epstein calls them, the quote, superior gene pool. Why me? Why my eye color? My eye color? I miss the person I was before I was made into what feels like a human incubator. That's what the woman said. So this stuff has been going on for a long time. They have her face redacted in the photo of her and Jeffrey Epstein as well. They've been preying on children for a long time. And so I thought one of the most interesting developments in these files coming out was Epstein's niece, which people miss this. Epstein's niece exposed that Ghislaine and Clinton, and she revealed horrific abuse, satanic cults, and child trafficking claims. I have the video of her talking about this stuff right here, man. We're going to play this clip, and I want you guys to hear what she has to say about her family members. And now, her name is Anya Wick, and she was formerly known as Anya Epstein, apparently, according to these reports and according to her. I just want you guys to hear what she has to say, and you take from it what you will. Let's listen to this real quick.
They told me that we belonged to the cult of Baal, B-A''A''L. They told me this with consistency while I was being abused. Now, what you can look up about the cult of Baal, information that is publicly available, is that it is thousands of years old. It is a Phoenician satanic fertility cult. She's
100% correct. If you go look in the Bible, the cult of Baal is where when Jesus walked with his disciples, the apostles, and he stopped at the temple of Baal, where the opening of a cave. This is in the Bible. Go read your Bibles, man. And this is when Jesus named Peter the Rock. This is when Jesus, Simon Peter, went from Simon to Peter for this reason. If you look at the story, this is in the Bible. Jesus said in the front of the temple of Baal, where they call it the mouth of Satan, or the gateway of hell, or something like that, where they would go and they would sacrifice babies into this cave. They would throw them into the cave, and they thought that was sacrificing the babies to the false god Baal, or however you want to pronounce it. And Jesus said, "Who do you say that I am?" to his disciples. He said, "What do people say about me?" And the apostles said, "They say that you're this, they say that you're that." And he said, "Okay, but what do you say about me?" And that's when Simon Peter steps up and says, "I say that you're the Son of God, the Christ, the Messiah." And he said, and this is when Jesus replies to Peter and says, Simon Peter, and says, "From this day forward, you're going to be Peter, and we're going to build my rock. We're going to build the church on the rock," which is Peter, right? In that passage. So this is not something that's new. This is something that's even in the Bible, what she's talking about, and she's 100% right. They sacrifice babies. Let's keep going.
And publicly, it's supposed to have been eradicated. But to my knowledge and my experience, it is not. This is what people perceive the Illuminati to be.
Mm-hmm.
It is a group of elites that practices forced and uses these crimes to control people.
Mm-hmm.
They happen to have a huge reach over politics and entertainment.
Huge reach.
To answer your basic question, why my family does this, because it was done to them, because having one man bear as many children in a generation as possible and forcing them through these traumatic events, they believe it creates a stronger bond, that creates more loyalty, that it keeps people from talking.
I want you guys, before she moves on from this part of it, do you guys remember Jay-Z being with that woman, Michelle Lammy? Let me show you guys the picture. Michelle Lammy is like this very demonic looking woman in the entertainment business. And this is the woman that, if you guys remember when Jay was doing I can't remember what it was. It was for an album or something. He was doing like some performance and he was with this woman. Let me show you guys her face. You remember her? Y'all remember this woman? And I can't remember what they were. It was like for one of Jay-Z's albums. He was doing a performance. And, but this woman has been in the fashion industry for a long time and connected with rappers and different things like that. And listen to what she had to say. This is Rick Owens' wife. Listen to what she had to say about Baal.
Ask Rick Owens' wife if God is good. God is Baal.
You don't believe in God? I get a God.
She starts stuttering when hearing God.
I want to pay.
So this is rampant through the entertainment industry. This ain't just this woman talking about it that claims she's Jeffrey Epstein's niece. This is going on, man.
And for the most part, they're right, because I'm the only one of my siblings who has directly spoken out about this. There are people who have hinted at it in their music. Of course, Justin Bieber has talked about being assaulted by Usher and Justin Timberlake at P. Diddy's parties, but
y'all see what's going on?
I don't think it's coincidence they've only gone after Sean Combs,
right,
and not his other alleged perpetrators.
Right.
who were born into the bloodline.
Mm.
There seems to be a level.
Yeah, I remember the Jay-Z line, my bloodline's crazy. Kings and queens and Michael Jordan rings.
Of protection for people who are simply born into that world, contrasted with people like Sean Combs or R. Kelly, who joined as adults.
Sean Combs, R. Kelly, both friends of.
But I was not in the boardrooms. I was a child on drugs.
Wow.
So I can't tell you exactly who organizes this, exactly how it happens.
Wow.
It's just speculation and memory.
Let me see if there's another part that I want to play. I don't think so. I think you guys get the point. And because we pressed for time, I can't go through all of it. I won't watch the whole clip here. But I have the whole clip. Maybe we'll do a private live stream or something, watching the whole thing. Now, with the Epstein files being released, one of the people that was prominent and that kept coming up in the Epstein files was, well, it was a few people actually, but one of the people was Bill Gates, right? And so the Bill Gates portion of this said Bill Gates dismisses lurid claims by Epstein as absurd and false, right? A spokesperson for Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates has responded to lurid allegations contained in the latest Epstein files, including that he caught a STD, calling them absolutely absurd and completely false. 2 emails from July 18, 2013 appear to have been drafted by Epstein, but it's unclear if they were ever sent to Gates. Both were sent from Epstein's email accounts and back to the same account, while no email account associated with Gates is visible and both emails are unsigned. One email is written as a resignation letter from Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, right? Melinda Gates is Bill Gates' ex-wife. She left him. And it complains about having had to procure medicine for Gates to deal with the consequences of sex with Russian girls. The other, which begins, quote, Dear Bill, complains about Bill Gates having ended a friendship and makes more claims about Gates having tried to cover up a STD, including from his then wife, Melinda. A spokesperson for Gates told BBC these claims from a proven disgruntled liar are absolutely absurd and completely false. So they're calling Melinda Gates, or whoever it was, a disgruntled liar. They added the only thing that these documents demonstrate is Epstein's frustration. No, they're calling Epstein a liar, excuse me. The only thing these documents demonstrate is Epstein's frustration that he did not have an ongoing relationship with Bill Gates and the lengths he would go to entrap and defame. Why would Jeffrey Epstein need to trap and defame Bill Gates? They say Bill Gates says it's because he just wanted to stop having a relationship with him. I think that's BS. Melinda Gates has come forward, Bill Gates' former wife, and she had a lot to say about this on NPR. Salute to NPR. Melinda Gates, her statement was very chilling.
Suggests that Bill Gates had additional affairs and that he tried to get medication to treat a sexually transmitted infection and that he was going to give you the medicine without you knowing. His representative has said all of this is false. It is not on you to have to respond to the details of that alleged behavior. But
you see the way she's nodding, almost in agreement, like, yeah, that was true. That really happened. That's how it comes off, right?
I wonder what your dominant emotion is when you read these news articles with these details.
She's not surprised. Look at her.
Sad.
She's sad, but she ain't
Just
surprised.
Unbelievable sadness. Unbelievable sadness, right? And again, I'm able to take my own sadness and look at those young girls and say, my God, how did that happen to those girls?
Right.
And so for me, it's just sadness for, I left my marriage. I had to leave my marriage.
Wow.
I wanted to leave my marriage. I had to leave I felt I needed to eventually leave the foundation. So it's just sad.
It almost insinuates that she left the marriage because of these things. And anybody that looking at this, you guys can see it. Does she look surprised at all to you guys? She don't look surprised to me. And her saying I had to leave my marriage. That means I found out some weird stuff and I had to get up out of here. That's what it sounds like, at least. She's not saying that. I'm saying that's what it sounds like.
It's the truth, right? And it's kind of like, at least for me, I've been able to move on in life.
This is, and she also said that it was sad. She made other statements saying that it was sad, but this is a previous interview that she did where she continued to talk about Bill Gates.
You know, it was also widely reported that Bill had a friendship or business or some kind of contact with Jeffrey Epstein, and that you were not, that was very upsetting to you. Did that play a role in the divorce at all in this process?
Yeah, as I said, it's not one thing, it was many things.
Mm-hmm.
But I did not like that he'd had meetings with Jeffrey Epstein, no.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you made that clear to him?
I made that clear to him. I also met Jeffrey Epstein exactly one time.
Did you?
Yes,
Wow.
because I wanted to see who this man was. And I regretted it from the second I stepped in the door. He was abhorrent. He was evil personified.
Wow.
I had nightmares about it afterwards. So, you know, my heart breaks for these young women because that's how I felt. And here I'm an older woman. My God, I feel terrible for those young women. It's awful.
Do y'all see what this is? She said she met Epstein. It's
Awful.
You felt that the moment you walked in? I didn't
He was
realize
awful.
that. Yeah. And you shared that with Bill, and he still continued to spend time with him?
mm-hmm.
Any of the questions remaining about what Bill's relationship there was, those are for Bill to answer.
Okay.
But I made it very clear how I felt about him.
Mm-hmm. I think.
Wow. Those are questions for Bill to answer. And I think she's doing that to legally protect herself. I'm not going to say what he did or didn't do. He needs to answer those questions. Y'all need to get him in a studio, sit him in a chair, and make him answer that. Now, here's where it gets interesting, man. I had to show you guys all that so you understand the context of what we're about to talk about. Now, everybody that's been listed in this situation, they've all these predators have had a tie with Jay-Z. How is that possible? How is that possible? Jay-Z, Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Donald Trump, was in the files a lot. He had an issue with Donald Trump. And we know that him and Trump has had issues for years. And there was, comments that have been made that have gone back and forth. And Trump is defending himself against things that Jay has said about him and different things like that. And I got into the Trump part of this, and we're going to get into that on another live stream because there's a lot of parts that I want to talk about with transactions going back and forth between Trump and different things like that. But, this is actually a report that was missed in regards to Jay-Z and Donald Trump the other day. I think it was yesterday. And it said Jay-Z paternity claimant says that he had assistance from President Donald Trump and Nicki Minaj, which we know Jay has an issue with Nicki Minaj right now, too. And Nicki has been saying that she's been insinuating that Jay is a child predator as well recently. Now, the Raimir Satterthwaite case, a lot of you guys know about this. This is a guy, he's a grown man now, but he said that Jay-Z was his paternal father, but he allegedly slept with Raimir's mom when Raimir's mom was a minor. And so this dude's like, yo, I just want to get the paternity test, but Jay has kind of fought this in court. That dude said that he wanted to thank Nicki Minaj and Donald Trump for their help. The article reports it this way. Raimir Satterthwaite, who has for years asserted that he's Jay-Z's biological son, is continuing his pursuit of a paternity determination following another setback in court. A recent filing related to the case failed to advance, but Satterthwaite has indicated that his efforts are ongoing. The dispute, which has unfolded over more than a decade, remains unresolved. Its longevity has kept it, excuse me, oh, my bad. What did I do? Its longevity has kept it, where did I go? My bad. I messed up the article. Hold on. Reload it. My bad, y'all. Where were we? Its longevity has kept it And what is going on with the article? Intermittently in public view despite limited legal movement. In recent weeks, Satterthwaite's social media activity has drawn renewed attention to the case. Several posts suggest he may be seeking encouragement or assistance from prominent figures outside the legal system, including Nicki Minaj and President Donald Trump. In a message shared widely online and highlighted by the Neighborhood Talk, he wrote, quote, "Thanks to Nicki and Mr. President for your help." And the post didn't specify the nature of his involvement, of their involvement. Nicki posted this on her X account, and it was a picture of Jay and a picture of the guy. So we know that Jay don't really get along with Trump, but who he does get along with, or who he did get along with rather, is Harvey Weinstein. And this is actually something that came up recently in this case. You know, these pictures of Jay-Z and Weinstein. And I want you guys, when we talk about this, I want you guys to think, how many times have you been around a group of, we know, even your mama will say, growing up, be careful who you hang around. Because birds of a feather flock together. Because if you around them, people are going to think you with them. So be careful who you hang out with, right? And this is no different. When we see these pictures of Jay and Weinstein together, right? And then you hear about the connection that Jay-Z had to R. Kelly, which we're going to talk about in a second. And you hear about the connection with Jay-Z and Epstein and the Epstein files. And you guys, we've been through this, but let me briefly recap. It said that the Justice Department dropped over 3 million pages of documents related to Jeffrey Epstein on Friday, and the names inside sparked immediate reactions across social media. Among those mentioned was Sean Carter, better known as Jay-Z, alongside disgraced film producer Harvey Weinstein and rapper Pusha T. So even in the Epstein files, they were saying that Jay was around Harvey Weinstein. And the files were from 1996. The woman that made a claim in 1996 that Jay, I guess, let me read it to you guys. The document details a call from an unidentified woman who contacted FBI Operations Center claiming to be a victim of sexual abuse. According to her account, an unknown man abducted her from her home in 1996. She reported waking up in what she believed was Jeffrey Epstein's Florida mansion in the presence of Harvey Weinstein and Jay-Z. So when we get through these stories and we start going down the rabbit hole of what's going on, and you see that Harvey Weinstein and Jay-Z have been friends for a while, so much so that Harvey Weinstein felt like he had to protect Jay-Z, and Jay-Z just kind of went for it in this video here.
Thoughts on Donald Trump and what it means for what it means for mass incarceration.
You know what? This is a labor of love for Jay, and as a result, he's my friend. We're here to talk about that and nothing else.
Then can I ask you about mass incarceration? And do you think the movement is in your?
You see what I'm saying? Like, how many predators do you be connected to before we start saying, wait a minute, bro, why are you around all of them though? Harvey Weinstein was asked how he got into business with Jay-Z, and he said, we've been New Yorkers together for years. We've known each other socially, and we've always talked about doing something together. I think we understand each other, excuse me. He said, people look at Jay-Z, and they don't say that's a real well-read guy. And people look at me and think the same thing, Harvey Weinstein said. He said, but we're both extremely well-read. That's the surprise of the whole thing, and it's what makes it work. He's one of the most brilliant men I know. He said Jay-Z looked at Trayvon Martin's family and said, I'm responsible if this is no good, because they was doing a film project for Trayvon Martin's family. And he said, I will do whatever it takes because they're going to hold me up on this. I'm not going to let you down. I'm not going to let me down. And so Jay and Harvey Weinstein have had business relationships, but Weinstein said out his own mouth that they've known each other socially before they had business relationship. And that's how they got into business together, because they knew each other socially. So when you connect everything together and then you go, okay, now the Bill Gates part of it. Jay was around Bill Gates too. It's like, how many of these dudes in this Epstein file that were accused of being predators are you going to be around, bro? At some point, we got to start saying, okay, we got to ask the question of what this is about. It was even reported that Jay went to Kris Jenner's birthday party and was hanging out with Bill Gates there. You know, this is when Kris Jenner was turning 70. And they said Jay-Z and Beyonce showed up. Bill Gates was there. Guess who else was there? Oprah. All these different people. Mark Zuckerberg, Michael Rubin. bunch of the Kim Kardashian, Tyler Perry, but you in these rooms. And not only that, look at this video from Jay and Bill Gates back in the day that a lot of people forgot existed.
Big pimpin', I'm Bill G. Big pimpin', yeah, you know me. Got it. Killed it, Billy G. Hey, let me get one thing straight with you. You can retire and then unretire? Exactly. Gotta keep them guessing. Thanks, Jay. No, it was great.
How many times do you have to see smoke to be like, there's a fire over there? How many times do we have to sit back and say, okay, now, does this prove or disprove anything? No, it does not. But at some point, common sense has to take over and we got to go, are we even allowed to question it? Can we question it? Because people act like we can't question these things. And it's not like I'm just making this stuff up. The people around Jay-Z have been saying this stuff about him for years. So it's not like the internet is just hating on Jay-Z. And by the way, everything can't be written off as hate, y'all. Everything can't be, y'all just hating on him. Nah, bro, we ain't hating on Jay-Z. I love Jay-Z music, personally. I do. I love entrepreneur music. Anybody around me know I'm a rap Jay songs. But that don't mean I can't look at it objectively and say, that's weird. Nah, it's kind of weird. If I hang out with 10 gangbangers, y'all gonna think if I hang out with 10 Crips, y'all gonna think I'm a Crip, right? If y'all constantly see me around these type of dudes. So it's like, what are we talking about? Doctors hang out with doctors. Lawyers hang out with lawyers. Fact or fiction? So when we keep seeing him pop around these people and the people that's been around him, even his former mistress had previously said when he caught a RAPE case, she had a lot to say about it. And this is a woman that was once pregnant with Jay's child. It said the article says the rapper had been accused of RAPING, a teenage girl, in a 2000 party alongside disgraced mogul Diddy. Jay denied the allegations. Now, he confirmed that he was never going to stop fighting the lawsuit that was filed against him, but it didn't stop people from giving their public opinion on the matter. Hov's former mistress, Carmen Bryan, which I believe that this is the same woman that Nas has a kid with, but Carmen Bryan has something to say. She said, these days, people don't defend what is right. They'll defend who they like. Now, that's the implication. And of course, being that people who are well-connected are sticking up for Jay-Z's reputation, Bryan rubbed additional salt in the wound with her closing statement. She said, quote, "And that's why we call you a groupie." So she's right. There's people that, they're going to stick up for Jay just because they want to stick up for Jay. It don't even matter what he does or says. Or if there's they don't even want you questioning it. Bro, everybody can't be called a hater. Like, come on, hating on what? Nas has something to say. Y'all remember when Nas said this? Jay has been around Weinstein. He's being called a friend by these people, by the way. Weinstein, Epstein, R. Kelly, Diddy. Like, I'm sure y'all can name a bunch more in the chat. How many people? Jay has been said that he was messing with 16-year-old Foxy Brown. These are the rumors. 16-year-old Foxy Brown. 15-year-old Aaliyah. 16-year-old Aaliyah, or wherever, however the age was. They say it was 16-year-old Beyonce. They say it was 16-year-old Rihanna. The Rymir Satterwhite mom. They say she was a teenager and Jay was a grown man. How many times do you get accused of this stuff, man? I ain't never been, in my life, I'm 31 years old, I ain't never been accused of this type of stuff. And I don't know anyone that has, let alone been accused of it for 5-6 times, man. And been around all these billionaire weirdos. How you connected to Epstein, Weinstein, Diddy, R. Kelly, Bill Gates? How are you connected to all of them? This is what Nas said. Listen to what Nas had to say about the situation. When Nas was going off about how he believed that Jay knew some things about what R. Kelly was doing behind the scenes when it was going on. Listen to Nas speak about this situation.
no movies. I said, that's not my style. That's not what I'm going to do. Could have put up movies. I could have showed the R. Kelly video that everybody's talking about, made fun of it, and said, yo, Jay's hanging out. When Jay and I was in there doing Basketball World, you can't tell me Jay didn't see a 14-year-old girl come in the studio and shit on R. Kelly's rap. Yeah. You can't tell me, you want to sit here and tell me that working on that album, that he ain't never seen a 14-year-old girl come in the vicinity?
My belief is that anybody who's worked with him and been in his cipher has seen it go down.
You've seen it go down.
Yeah.
It's wrong.
You seen it go down is wrong. You can't tell me that you did an album or 2 albums or whatever it was and went on tour with R. Kelly. And you ain't never seen at the time when R. Kelly was doing this stuff, allegedly. And you can't say that you ain't seen nothing, but it was always happening in the studio according to the victims. Come on, man. Even Nas is saying that. These are people that have been around Jay. Dame Dash. They called Dame Dash a hater. Look what Dame Dash had to say when he was asked about it.
Kelly, there was a conversation had about the moralness, like it's morally wrong to do a project with someone that we know raped my girl or raped anybody for that matter. So I do know that that conversation was had, and I was really surprised that he moved forward with that relationship. I don't know Epstein, so I never had the chance to walk away from him. But I do know that when that project did come out, I didn't want any part of that project. I didn't want any of the money to go to Rockefeller or me when it came to Rockefeller. It was around the time that Jay was trying to kind of separate himself from us. And he was saying that he didn't want to be a part anymore. And we resolved that issue with, look, if you want, because he wanted me to dilute and he wanted Biggs to dilute. And I wasn't diluting because I know what I mean and what I do for business. But our OG, Deuce from St. Croix, kind of stepped in and was like, that's not right.
Do y'all understand? Dame said, bro, I had a conversation with Jay about working with R. Kelly because we knew what was going on behind the scenes. We knew that he was sleeping with kids behind the scenes, and Jay still wanted to do the business because it was good for business for Jay, according to Jay. Now, when you look at these situations individually, it's nothing. But when you put them together, you go, wait a minute, you around a lot of this same activity, dog. And we know what Nicki Minaj said. She said, imagine if a 30-year-old rapper was out here with a 16-year-old girl in this day and age, how y'all would have his head on a platter. The guy, referring to Jay-Z, allegedly, was hugging and humping on teens in broad daylight. Next, I'll get on the owner of the Shade Room and more. So, and Nicki is somebody that was formerly, she used to worship Jay. It seemed like she used to love Jay, not literally worship him, but it seemed like she loved Jay. She named her album The Pink Print to pay homage to Jay's The Blueprint. So everybody's just hating on him. That's what y'all's trying to convince us of. It's not him, it's us. It's everybody. Everybody just looking at it like, yo, we just want to hate on Jay. We just waking up for a reason to hate on Jay. Why? What does that benefit? It's crazy, man. It's crazy. I think that this is a situation where there's some truth in something around this, bro. Why are you around this much? Why are you around it this much? It's just a question. We just got to ask. Do we know anything? No. Can we prove anything? No. But why are you around it this much? We have the right to ask them type of questions, bro, especially when children are involved. And you're not going to dissuade us. Nobody's going to dissuade us with those you a hater comments. Nobody want to see Jay fall. Why would anybody want to see Jay fall if he was innocent of, bro? We want to see people that mess with kids fall. It ain't got nothing to do with Jay-Z. We want to see people committing these crimes fall. It ain't got nothing to do with his name. We don't care what his name is, bro. There's only good and there's only evil. There is no in between. You got to pick a side. And if you say that this is morally wrong, then you got to stand on that, no matter who it is. And a lot of people don't want to stand on things unless it aligns with their preconceived belief. You don't want to stand on that because you worship this guy. And as much as I love Jay music, if you a pedophile, I love R. Kelly music. You a pedophile, that's what it is, bro. R. Kelly a weirdo. Am I going to not play Step in the Name of Love? I'm going to play it because I like the song. Am I not going to listen to Jay's Blueprint? I'm going to play it because I like the album. I'm a Black Album kind of guy, though. But, it doesn't take away from what they've created or what they've done or the good things that they've done. You know, for whatever good things that they've done. If they paid somebody's rent or if they got somebody out of jail or if they looked out for somebody, that's great. But it doesn't, look, let me explain something to y'all, man. If I have this cup of water, if I take this cup of water, right? Full cup of water. And I take a droplet, a tincture, right? And I put a drop or 2 drops of pee in here. Would you drink this water? It's still good water, but once I put that pee in it, now this is pee water. So just because most of it was good before I put the pee in, don't mean it's good after I put the pee in. That's what I'm saying when it comes to this situation, man. These dudes could have done great things. Jay could have done a billion good things for black people, and that's great. He could have represented the entrepreneur coming from nothing and making it out of the worst circumstances in the world and becoming something. That's great. That's a great success story. But the minute that you put the pee drop in the water and say he did all that and it was a lot of good water, but he was hanging around a lot of predators and perverts and people messing with kids. But he's in these Epstein files. But he has a bunch of allegations of messing with underage girls. Well, that's the drops of pee water. And now this water is not good water. It's pee water because what fellowship does light have with darkness, the Bible says. Jesus said that you know them by their fruits, for a good tree can't bear bad fruit. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit. Not, well, the good tree can have a couple bad fruits and it's still a good tree. No, a good tree cannot bear bad fruit. So when you guys want to worship certain people, remember that. Because despite what you feel, truth is truth. And it don't make nobody mad. Nobody's going to sleep waking up thinking about these people. But the truth is the truth. And it don't got no feelings. And it don't got no hatred. The truth ain't hating on nobody. I promise you. Understand what you see is an optical illusion, man. 5 years ago, nobody would ever thought Diddy was doing half of the things that we saw and that came out about Sean Diddy Combs. Jay is around all these people, man. Jay is around Diddy. He acting like he's not around Diddy. Jay is in the Epstein files. Jay is around Weinstein. Weinstein calls him a friend. Jay is around Bill Gates. Bill Gates calls him a friend. All these people are accused of this weird stuff. Don't get me started, Jay, around Obama. There was a lot of weird stuff going on around the Obama situation, which I'm going to play maybe tomorrow's live stream because we run out of time. But somebody was making some, Chrissy Teigen said some weird things, and I'm going to show you guys tomorrow. The Diddy had the Obama face pills. Y'all don't remember that? It's a lot of weirdness going on in the industry, man. Don't be blind and don't be so enamored by what you believe of celebrities. Y'all believe in the cartoon character of these celebrities, and it's not real, man. It's not real. That's all I got for you guys on this one. My name is Will Evans. Make sure you like and subscribe. And like I said, if you want to donate to the growth of the channel, donate on Cash App. Salute to Cash App for the partnership. ULegend, ULGND. That's all I got for you guys. I'll see you guys on tomorrow live stream. We're going to break down some more parts of this file and the craziness that's going on, man. Until then, stay up, stay blessed by the best, and stay peaceful.